Look at profitability, you're generally not going to get, you know.
We're not out to, we do need to make money, yes.
Sure, right, you have to run
We
like a
have to run,
business.
yes, it's a business, though.
As the board president, is that something you have to have oversight, or do you have a general manager? That
We have a
runs
manager,
that?
Kaysa Thielander,
Okay.
and Sue Keating is her assistant. Sue's been the manager and has moved on. But the board works to increase profitability, and we help to do that by increasing sales and the concern for local food and food without chemicals.
And the environment.
And the environment, yes.
Which, you know, I think that's something that we're all gonna have to take, you know, a closer look at as the years go on. You know, like you said, you know, we always feel that crunch when the gas prices go up. It's like our whole civilization changes. You know, you notice people aren't driving, they aren't, you know, the streets aren't, you know, as busy with traffic. You know, I don't know if you noticed that, but I did. And people that I worked around or worked with were very, very concerned about their prices of gas. Certainly the farmers and producers were concerned about the transportation costs increasing.
Well, transportation cost, equipment costs, because every pass through a field with a tractor or a large piece of equipment are huge amounts of diesel fuel.
Well, and that's my background, is I come from a farm family, and my brothers are all still in farming. So, you know, absolutely that affected them heavily, and many of those industries. You know, and they're not so much doing produce, but they're doing, you know, they're just the typical big Kansas farmers with the wheat and cattle, you know, and that kind of thing. So, but it's going to take a little time too, though, I think, for people to maybe start to really embrace more of the chemical-free. What do you hear about, I mean, there's even been some talk that this increase we see in autism either is that they're identifying more people autistic, or maybe it's an environmental issue. What sort of things have you researched and found to be relevant to wanting to eat and choosing to eat chemical-free?
For myself, I have many allergies, I have many food issues, and I simply don't want to consume neurotoxins, which most pesticides and herbicides are. And that's been the basis of my choice. The market is really not done that much education on why chemical-free, but what we're doing is trying to help people understand how you can eat local and how you can do well. One interesting thing coming up in October, is a class at the library that William Justice from the Wood Fashion Cafe will be teaching. It will begin at the market. The class will actually have a tour of the market so that people can investigate it, and then they'll move over to the cafe, and William will prepare a wonderful meal for them that is all local. And they'll get a chance particularly to learn how to cook those fall and winter root crops, which most of us have to learn how to do again.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, the other thing that I love about, you know, and of course I have what I call a young entrepreneur series I do, and I had William in, and I have others lined up to come in. And I talked a lot about, you know, how did you decide to be an entrepreneur, and, you know, the risks he took, the work he's put into it and all that. But you know, we also of course got to talk about what he's doing at his cafe. And the thing for me that just is astounding when I eat there is the flavors. The flavors of what you're probably bringing to your market when it's traveling less than 25 miles to get, you know, to the plate, so to speak, instead of the 1,800 miles to get a carrot on your dinner table, you know, is the preservation of flavor to me. I think we forget that. We get used to eating, you know, so many, like William had some interesting comments in an interview. If you go back on the JoanJerkovich.com, you can see, you know, all of those shows are archived back, you know, about how he can't serve like chicken wings because he buys whole chickens, and what's he going to do with the rest of it? You know,
that's right.
And so, you know, but it was just interesting how, and then, you know, his menu changes because it changes relative to what's seasonal.
The seasonal changes us, and also what you notice is that we are bringing at the market different varieties. Supermarket varieties are bred. Those tomatoes, the peaches, they're bred to travel long distances, not for taste.
That's true.
And so you'll get heirloom varieties. When I sell my chart at the market, it's a variety got from Skyfire Seeds in Ellsworth. It's a Kansas variety that goes back to the 1800s. It's bred for a climate, and it's got delicious flavor.
Yes.
That's not going to be in something that was cut 3 weeks ago.
Right.
And that's with all local food, it all tastes wonderful.
I know, and you know, I've gotten to where, you know, the other thing, Martha, that's starting to really bother me in the supermarkets is, you know, we're supersizing everything. I can't buy an apple that's not the size of this microphone, you know. I mean, it's just like, you know, I want an apple, but I don't want to necessarily have to cut it in half, and then, you know, the edge gets brown when you go to eat it again, you know, and, you know, it's just, everything is so supersized. And I do agree that, you know, the flavors are gone. The flavor has changed. It, you know, it's almost a sin to, just to do that to my palate, that I don't get to enjoy this wonderful flavors that you get when you buy local and eat seasonal and all of that.
I agree.
You forget, because every time when I go back to the Wood Fashion Cafe, I am reminded of the years when I was growing up on my family farm, and we gardened. We had huge gardens, a lot of people did, and then as a young adult I gardened for some years. I forgot how good those vegetables taste. I mean, I told William when we had our interview, I think I sat there and ate that salad and commented to my husband 5 times, this is so fresh, this is so good. Because you know what we're so used to are now we have the bag salads, and I'm sorry, but I can taste that chemical. The bag salads that are done for preservation, you know, that you can buy and keep it for 4 weeks in your fridge, but they're chemically processed.
Of course.
To keep that lettuce fresh.
This lettuce shouldn't stay fresh for 4 weeks.
Not fresh. It's not fresh, but it's edible.
Right.
You know, so. Well, Martha, I'm going to have to let you go, but I thank you so much for coming in to see us and to visit with us, and we'll see you at the festival.
We'll see you there.
Good luck with your next week of work you have. So,
okay.
Thanks again. Did you catch the